Nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. Pre and perimenopause has been a hot topic here in the resilience training community lately. And today we're going to take a deeper dive into how you should eat to fight some of these pre and perimenopause symptoms. Now today is not just for the general advice of eat healthy, eat whole grain foods. No. Today we're going to talk more specifically on what we should eat and what we should avoid in this menopausal transition. Let's break it down into 5 tips. Number 1, we have to increase the phytoestrogens that we eat in our diet.
What the hell is even that?
Phytoestrogens are plant-based compounds that very similarly mimic what estrogen does in your body. You can find these compounds in flax seeds, soy products like tofu, tempeh, and edamame. You can find them in legumes too, like chickpeas or lentils. And you can also find them in whole grains, like in oats and barley. So there are practical ways to raise the phytoestrogen consumption that you have, like putting lentils or chickpeas in your salad, putting flax seeds in your smoothie or your yogurt, or making that switch from white bread or regular pasta to whole wheat and whole grain pasta. The second thing we should do is focus on increasing our calcium and vitamin D consumption. As mentioned in those previous videos, you know menopause takes a hit on your bone density, and that decrease in bone density leads to other negative effects. So one of the ways we can combat that is making sure that we have enough vitamin D and calcium in our diet. Dairy products like yogurt, cheese, milk, leafy greens like kale and broccoli, nuts like almonds, and fatty fish like salmon and mackerel are a great way to increase your vitamin D and calcium intake. And even if you're not into those foods, look for a supplement. It's all right to take a vitamin D or a calcium pill to make up for those micronutrients that you're not getting through your diet. 3, we gotta make sure we're getting enough healthy fats. One of the sad realities that just is when I talk to a lot of women who want to get into my weight loss programs, when I ask them about their diet, right away I can tell they're not eating enough. And one of the things that people are terrified of are eating fats. But the reality for women is that healthy fats help support hormone production and they help regulate inflammation. So we have to make sure we're getting our omega-3s. Those are found in foods like salmon, flax seeds, chia seeds. Sneak some avocados into your diet. Cook with olive oil and get used to snacking on nuts and seeds. That will make sure that we're keeping that macronutrient balance to help support our hormone production and regulation. The 4th and one of the most important things that we need to do is prioritize protein. Unexplainable weight gain is one of those nasty effects for a lot of women in menopause. So in response, a lot of women tend to cut off their food supply. But what we can't do is cut off our protein intake in the name of calorie restriction, because we need that protein to support muscle mass. And we need that muscle mass to support our bones and to keep our metabolism high. So with lunches and dinners, make sure we're getting lean meats like chicken and turkey, or fish, shrimp, and other seafood, and even other plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, quinoa. Even though I have it 4th on the list, prioritizing protein is king on this list. I would say the 5th key is managing blood sugar levels. So this one's a little bit harder to keep track of if you don't have a way to track your blood sugar level. But many of us know our bodies enough that we know when our blood sugar is high and when it's low. The reality is that fluctuating blood levels can worsen the symptoms of menopause. So the best thing that we can do for our diet is to stick to complex carbs and limit refined sugars. I would say a healthy baseline would be 80-20. And if that's just not cutting it, maybe you go 85-15. And again, when I say complex carbs, I'm talking about whole grains, legumes, vegetables. Those carbs are a lot better than the carbs you get in pizza, cookies, and cakes. Now, outside of those 5 keys, there's one more thing I have to talk about, and those are trigger foods. And what's funny is this is gonna trigger a lot of people, but we have to limit foods that are gonna trigger our gut. Spicy foods, high caffeinated foods, foods that are high in refined sugar, and the tough one, alcohol. Believe it or not, these foods put the gut in a compromising situation, making it a little bit harder to digest and process these foods. That's a sure way to increase inflammation. And inflammation is the foundation of a lot of the symptoms that you're suffering from. I hope this helps. I'm gonna make a couple more videos on this topic if you guys want. Now, I've worked with hundreds of women going through this transition, and I can tell you right now, don't worry, there is hope. You can do this. If you want help with your nutrition, put a salad emoji down in the comments, and I will personally reach out and start that conversation with you. Stay resilient.